What's going on, y'all? Good morning. The Cowboys just finished whooping up on the Washington Commanders yesterday, and a lot to say about this game. There's a lot going on here. Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, George Pickens, just maybe the best addition the Cowboys have had in an offseason in who knows how long. Just a phenomenal player, having a great season. Cowboys got to do every single thing in their power to retain this man. All right, you can have maybe the league's best offense, if not top 3 to 5 offense throughout the remainder of Dak Prescott's contract here in Dallas. And so that's if you retain George Pickens. So this front office, great job making the trade. All you did was give up a 3rd-round pick for this absolute stud of a player. Now go out and sign him during the season, after the season, I don't care. Just don't let him actually hit that free agent market. All right. I know it's going to be challenging, but you got to lock him up here in Dallas. All right. And you've got a young offensive line getting better seemingly each week. Obviously, there's been a lot of injuries this season, but you got a young group of guys. Guyton still developing. Steele probably will get replaced at some point in time here. But you've got a solid, really young group of guys that's getting better, and they're going to continue to get better. You've got the tight end you signed, right? Or you extended before the season started. And a lot of people didn't like that move because Jake Ferguson had a down 2024. But let's be honest, everybody had a down 2024. You're playing with backups. Ferguson he stepped in to stay in a block all the time, so his numbers were down. He was playing through injury, and so when they signed him, right, people were mad because they had to work out Micah still. You can do both simultaneously. Obviously, Micah didn't work out, but Ferguson, he's the 7th highest paid tight end in the NFL right now, and that's going to be a bargain deal with the way this guy's playing. All right, he's scoring touchdowns left and right. He can't stop scoring touchdowns. He's picking you up first downs. No, he's not a big yak guy, and maybe because of his injuries and stuff, maybe something's going on there. He's not as explosive as he was before as far as after the catch, but the dude is playing extremely well right now at an extremely high level. All right, and so the front office is looking incredibly smart for that. And let's just give them a shout out, guys, because we talk a lot of junk about this front office, and a lot of it is deserved. But when they do stuff well, we should give them credit for that too. George Pickens, Javonte Williams, let's not forget about him. That was a key signing, extending Jake Ferguson. Offensively, the front office has done a great job in this offseason. And then obviously the hiring of Shoddy looks to be really good right now. And then everything Shoddy's put together as far as Clayton Adams, Connor Riley, and all those guys. So everything on that side of the ball, from the front office down to the player, everything is working out great, okay? Defensively, been a struggle, okay? And you finally saw Flus do what we have all been asking him to do, and that's play more man coverage and blitz more often, all right? And you saw it pay dividends. And listen, there's a time and a place for all of this stuff defensively, for zone, for man, for sending, blitzes and all that. You can't just do everything one way or the other. And that was one of the issues Dallas had, was they were playing 90+% zone coverage. They blitzed less than 8% of the time. So they were just playing basic defenses that, offenses could pick on. And so you saw in this last game, and it made a lot of sense because the Commanders were without their top 2 receivers. So everything I say positively about this defense is just put a little asterisk next to it because the Commanders were down some guys. But they played, I don't have the numbers in front of me yet, but seemingly over 50% of their snaps were in man coverage. They blitzed a ton. I don't know the percentage on that, but you saw more blitzes. And even Shamar James, who's one of the fastest guys on the team, especially at the linebacker position, got home on a blitz, forced a fumble that knocked the quarterback out of the game, unfortunately, and due to injury there. But he did get the fumble and a consequential fumble recovery. Cowboys went and put the game away right then and there. But you're seeing when you mix things up, it pays dividends. And like I said, the Commanders were without their top 2 receivers, and so it made sense to put more pressure on Jaden, okay, because he's playing with guys that he's not as familiar with at the receiver position, and so you're putting more pressure on him to get the ball out early. You're messing up the timing on a lot of these routes, and so you saw Daniels he just didn't look comfortable the whole game. And so props to them. You saw Bland was very, very sticky in his coverage. All right, you saw him get a pick 6, the pick 6 king returns. But you saw a lot of these guys playing better and it had to do with the fact that they played more man. There's less mental mistakes happening when you're in man coverage. All you got to do is, hey, that's my guy. I'm on him till his ball's thrown. You stay on your guy. There's no passing off guys. There's no confusion in whose zone is whose. You did see early on in the game in the Commanders' first touchdown to Ertz, you saw a blown assignment from Shamar James. All right, Kenneth Murray is passing off Ertz over into James's zone, and James just kind of sits down and lets the tight end run behind him, just unaware, and he just sits down and gets touchdown. So it is what it is. Even if Kenneth Murray is playing man coverage on Ertz, that's not a desire of mine to see Kenneth Murray playing man up on tight ends. In that scenario, let's stick Donovan Wilson, or when Wanye comes back from injury, see Wanye manned up against the tight end in that situation if you're going to play man. But it just speaks to the fact that, in zone, you're more prone to these mental mistakes, and you saw it right then and there. So defensively, still a lot of room to grow, obviously. You saw Ezeiruaku play really well. He had a sack. It was a cleanup sack, but it was a sack nonetheless, playing well in run defense. Had a couple tackles for losses there. You saw Clowney show up. Houston still showing up in the backfield. So defensive line played well, really limited to their running game. So all around, the whole team looked better this week, holistically. And even if you can get to the 25th, 23rd, 24th ranked spot defensively, and this offense is scoring 40 points a game, I mean, that's going to put you in not just contention for the playoffs, but beyond that. And I'm going to be cautious. I don't have a lot of hope that this defense can get markedly better than what we've seen, because you'll see it all the time where these coordinators, they have a few games, right? And I'll speak offensively. You'll see like an OC, he wants to run the ball more. Okay, so he'll run the ball better for 3, 4, 5 games, right? It'll be more balanced. But then you get into a tough game where you're getting challenged, right? And you just kind of revert back to what your instincts tell you to do, and that's to pass the ball more as an OC. And you saw with Kellen Moore all the time here. So my fear is that you'll get a couple of good games, a couple of games where you see more blitzes, more man coverage from Flus, and then for one reason or another, all of a sudden you're back to 85, 90% zone, no blitzes. And so until I see that consistently, and I'm talking about 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row, where we see the scheme or the play calls, I should say, mixed up a bit more, like you saw this week against the Commanders. Until I see that on a consistent basis, I'm not 100% sold that we're going to see that for the remainder of the year. So keeping my eyes on that. But for a step in the right direction, this definitely was that. This was a big time step defensively in the right direction, and we'll see if Flus can keep that up. And the players too. Shout out to the players. Bland specifically making tackles left and right, very sticky on his guys. Made Daniels have to throw the ball into some tight windows, and when that ball was completed, he was right there on his guy for the tackle. So let's see if this defense continue to grow. But if this offense is putting up 40 points a game, 35, 40 points a game, they're going to be in every single game, week in and week out. So looking forward to see what this team can do to continue to grow. What do y'all think? Let me know what your thoughts are on this Commanders versus Cowboys game, and I'll catch y'all later.